Hello. Sometimes when I'm transferring tapes for people, I have to repair the cassette because it's been snapped or has internal problems. And there's one format which is particularly painful, I find, for reassembly after repair, and that is U-matic. So let's find out what's wrong with this tape and see if we can fix it. A quick look at the tape in here. This is nothing to do with the videotape itself. That's just a kind of a brush to sit along the back of the tape. The tape itself should be between these spools, and it comes out between these two metal supports here and over the top of this one. And the other thing to note is this latch, which is used for opening the tape. So the machine pushes that latch open to allow the front of the tape to open, and that's quite a difficult part to reassemble, I find. So you've also got to be careful which screws you undo here. You undo too many, too much stuff starts falling apart. You've also got the spring here on the front door. So it's quite a complicated mechanism. Let's see if we can fix this one. Okay, let's start by working out which of these screws we need to undo. You see, those are screwed in from the bottom, as is that, but on the top you also have a screw here just for this guide and this one. So clearly this guide is only attached at the bottom. We'll also have these case screws to undo, but we'll start by slicing through any label so that we don't have label sticking the tape together. And this inner one, and we can take the top off. Okay, but something happened which probably wasn't visible on camera, that a small washer came off the top of here. It's like a washer, it's a double sort of thing there, so we'll just fish that out. Okay, so that needs to go back on the top of these guides when we reassemble. Now if we're really lucky, we won't disturb this mechanism here, which has, I'll get you so you can see it, spring connected up here to the bottom of this rocking lever, which is mounted on this plastic support, and then that's the front door there, and we don't want it to disturb that. In this case, the tape has separated from the leader, which is not that unusual. I have splicing blocks for lots of videotape sizes, but not 3/4 inch U-matic, so I'm just going to have to splice it by hand. Right, we have something of a crease in here, which must have happened at some point when the tape snapped. So originally they would have been joined there, and it's split at the back. So let's cut that off and put some new splicing tape on. This part should never anyway run past the heads. Those angles look pretty much perfect, so I can put some tape on there. Now I have 1/2 inch tape which I could run acrossways, or I could run it lengthways and get more tape on there. I think I'm going to do that. Okay, that's a pretty good join. You could argue there may be better ways to do it, but that is safe for the machine. This is splicing tape. It is not ordinary sellotape or scotch tape or similar, which can ooze the adhesive onto the rest of the tape over time. Now some people would argue, and some people have argued, that doesn't matter, you're going to run the tape once and throw it away. But I still don't like to use the wrong kind of splicing tape. Now we're going to run this leader tape through between these two posts and in front of this flexible plastic piece similar to this one. Right, I've put this washer type thing on the top. Let's hope it stays in place when I refit this. Also we have this long guide here. It's a sort of spring-loaded guide, and that will need to be behind the tape here. Okay, so it is put back in place. The posts sit on with that washer underneath it, and that long plastic spring is in place behind the tape here. Let's fit these top 2 screws in, and everything else should be easy after that. Now push this down and the front should close, and refit the rest of the screws. Good, we're ready to play this tape. Now you might wonder, why did I have to do that repair? And it's because the adhesive had failed on the splicing tape between the main magnetic material tape and the leader, the clear leader. And the concern is that if that happens at one end of a tape on one spool, it's likely to happen at the other end. So indeed, that particular tape I was working on, when I fast forwarded it, it did exactly the same. The tape separated from the leader, and I had to splice that one on as well. So perhaps it's worth always doing both ends if you have a problem with leader separating. Now, we've been working on these large size U-matic tapes, and the thing about these is they only have a flange on one side of each spool. So on this side the flange is at the bottom, and on the other side the flange is at the top, and that was a space saving technique. The smaller size U-matic tapes have a much more conventional flange on top and bottom of both spools, and you don't have that spring arrangement to try to guide the tape under a certain amount of tension that you do in the large tapes. So they're a little bit simpler, but the basic principles otherwise apply. You still get the 2 guides here and the 1 guide there, and the door opening mechanism to look after when you take it apart. Right, I hope you've enjoyed what we've done here. I'm sure you may have, if you've worked on U-matic tapes a lot, you may have comments. Keep them polite, please, because it's too easy, I think, to criticise. You don't know what you're talking about. You should have done it this way. Yeah, there's other ways you could do it, okay? You could, for example, consider taking the screws at the bottom of one of these guides on this end, but then there's a risk that when you come to put it together, the guide could crumple the tape as you're assembling it. But, you know, you could do it your own way. But if you have some polite comments on how to work on U-matic tapes, do leave them in the comments below. I'll do plenty more content on audio and video technology in the near future. Bye for now.